What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis. Obviously, I'm your host, Dylan Davis. The Daily Dose is brought to you by the Painted Lines Network. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You can check out the Painted Lines on Twitter at the Painted Lines. Pretty simple. Hit the like button on this video, turn on post notifications, and let's have some fun. Gint is a little busy today and tonight, so I am riding solo on this one. So comment as much as you guys can. Join the conversation with myself, and let's just have fun with it. Today is simply the team behind me. The Philadelphia 76ers lost their last two games. I know it's a losing streak. We're not used to that this season. They fall to 18-9 on the season. Still first place in the Eastern Conference by 2 games over the Milwaukee Bucks. But with that being said, in their last 2 losses to the Portland Trail Blazers and then the Phoenix Suns on Saturday afternoon, the games were exciting. They were fun to watch. The starters were great. Tobias Harris, I think, had 16 and 17 or 17 and 18 points in the 2 games. Was a little underwhelming. However, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid continue to improve their chemistry on the floor and look good and look like they can fit together. I know that doesn't fit a lot of people's narratives in the past, but it is the truth. However, there's one simple story to the Sixers' struggles on this West Coast trip, and that has come ever since Shake Milton went out with that right ankle or Achilles, whatever injury is going on for Shake right now. He's missed the last 2 games, and the bench has struggled mightily. That is the only takeaway I can have. I don't know how you can have another takeaway from their 2 losses. They fall to 1-3 on the 1-2 on the West Coast stand. They wrap that West Coast stand up tonight in Utah versus the best and hottest team in the NBA, versus the Utah Jazz. So we're going to talk about that game a little bit on today's show. But first, I want to recap the weekend. Right. So since our last show, they beat the Sacramento Kings, and then they've taken on the Portland Trail Blazers, where they fell 118-114 in a heartbreaking fashion loss. And then, they struggled after the first quarter against Phoenix. The first quarter is the only quarter the Sixers finished with a lead, and they struggled after that. So let's look at the Portland game first. They lose 118-114. Can you really be that mad about it, though? Ben Simmons, basically a 23-point triple-double. He doesn't turn the ball. He turns the ball over one time. It comes on the final play and on the inbound pass. I mean, Joel Embiid finished with 35-9. Tobias Harris, 17, 6, and 5. Not a great shooting night for Tobias, though. 4 of 12, 0 of 5 from 3, but he made all 9 of his free throw attempts. Seth Curry had 15 points. He hit that clutch 3 down the end off the Ben Simmons assist that tied the game at 114 apiece. And like I said, Ben, 23, 11, 9, 10 of 12 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. He was dominant. And then you get past the starting 5. And that's where the issues came in. Furkan Korkmaz, 7 points. Matisse Thybulle, 4 points. Dwight Howard, 3 points. Tyrese Maxey, 5 points in 12 minutes on 2 of 8 shooting and 0 of 3 from the 3-point line. They were not good enough, obviously, without Shake Milton. The bench combined for 19 points against the Portland Trail Blazers. Carmelo Anthony alone scored 24. Now, I get it. I'm not that upset with the loss. Why? Because it was a great game. The Sixers had won 4 in a row. They were looking for their 5th straight on the road. So, obviously, in the way Dame played, Dame dropped over 30. Gary Trent was knocking down threes. I get it. I wasn't that upset. But how it ended, and when you look at just that, Carmelo Anthony alone outscored our bench 24-19. That is not going to cut it. Before I continue with that and get into the Phoenix game, Kevin says, what is up? I'm riding solo today, Kev, so please comment as much as you can. Join the conversation. Ask me any questions on the Sixers team you want. Today's all about them. John says, greeting and salutations. What's going on? Marquise, what's up, Marquise? 1-0 is the goal, buddy, tonight, and they have not hit that goal the last 2, so hopefully we get right tonight. And John says the Sixers are shallow at forward. Yeah, backup 4. Definitely. Dwight Howard lately at the backup 5. Look, I'm huge on the Dwight Howard signing in the offseason, especially for the vet minimum that they signed him to. However, his age and his I don't know. His lack of awareness for offensive fouls is astonishing at times. But they definitely need a backup four. That's something else I'm going to discuss today. Blake Griffin and the Detroit Pistons are at a crossroads. They've agreed Blake is not going to play another game until they decide what to do with him in the future. No one's trading for that contract. I think he's making over 35. He's making like 38 this year, 38 or 39 next season. No one's paying that in a trade. No one's taking on that contract. So I'm thinking buyout market. Now, you guys tell me, is Blake Griffin someone you would like to see come off the Sixers bench in a buyout fashion? I would love it. I'm not trading for the dude, but in a buyout opportunity, I would definitely take it. And then the report comes out earlier today that they're looking for a point guard off the bench. And DeLon Wright from the Detroit Pistons also, and George Hill in OKC, who was a DNP last night, are the two listed. I would really like DeLon Wright. I would like either or. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that fits, because backup point guard, unless this means Shake injury is a lot more serious than we think. I don't know why that's the key, especially a backup point guard that, doesn't shoot the three all that well. I thought another bench. Now they are another bench scorer, but another bench, perimeter shooter and a backup four are my targets for the Sixers bench depth. So maybe Shake's injury is more serious than we think. Let me get to some more comments here. Getting back to the Portland game, John says Tobias played Carmelo well. I guess, man. He flashed back to like 2010, 2007 Carmelo Anthony in the fourth quarter. He was unbelievable. I'll pull up his numbers for you. 24 points in 25 minutes on 9 of 15 shooting, 4 of 5 from deep. Like I said, that's why you can't be all that angry with it. Especially when you look at, I said Dame dropped 30. He did drop 30. But guess what? He was 6 of 21 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3. That is brought to you by the 2-5 penitentiary, Mr. Benjamin Simmons, who said he feels like he is the best defender in the NBA. I completely back 2-5 with that statement. He is. Look, Dame got his 30, right? But he got to the foul line 15 times. 14 of his 30 came from the free throw line. He didn't have I think he didn't score a basket for a long stretch of that game until the ending of the fourth quarter. Ben did a great job on Damian Lillard this past Thursday night. But like I said, when you have Gary Trent also 5 of 7 from 3, 7 of 12 for 19 points, like really? And then you have Carmelo outscoring the entire Sixers bench with that spectacular fourth quarter performance. There wasn't a lot you can do, especially when our bench is performing like the way they were. Marquise, I'm starting to hope Sixers get George Hill, who has playoff experience. Sixers need playoff experience guys in my book, like Hill. Definitely agree with that, Marquise. Dwight hasn't been focused for the past few weeks. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's a lack of focus. I just think it's a lack of awareness. He still plays like it's the early 2000s when he can be uber physical and body guys and throw those elbows and shoulders around in the guy's chest. And the guys, they're selling it a lot of times also. And Dwight gets no love from the refs. So everything plays a factor into it, but he's got to be smarter, especially when I get to tonight's game. Joel Embiid's questionable tonight. Dwight Howard may have to start. Dwight Howard, or maybe Doc starts Tony Bradley like he did before the last time Joel didn't play. We need players with playoff experience, too, that can come through, not just regular season. It is all about the postseason. Marquise, I agree with you. Blake Griffin is valuable at the mid-level exception. Completely agree, and I think that's what you're going to be looking to see, like for a deal for him. Besides the stats, Tobias contested Carmelo. No, I'm not coming at Toby for his defensive performance against Carmelo. Like I said, you can't really be that mad when, Carmelo flashed back to prime Melo coming off the bench in the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable. I'll take Blake, but only if we don't have to give up a lot still. I'll take Blake and Hill. Blake, you shouldn't have to give up anything. No one's trading for Blake Griffin. I promise you that. If they do, I will be so surprised. But I'm expecting a buyout. C-Note25 says, could you let me know where you got the Sixers art print from? The one behind me was a gift, but I believe I'm in the South Jersey area. It's from the Cherry Hill. It was from a store in the Cherry Hill Mall. I don't believe it's still there. But shout out, I can't even tell you the business, but there's a stand in the middle of the Cherry Hill Mall that has awesome Philadelphia art pieces like this and much bigger. So if you're in this area, go check it out if you're a Philly sports fan. Marquise, if we get Blake and Hill, damn, I'll be crying for joy. Yeah, I'll be happy too, man. I think it clogs up a lot of the holes that this bench has. But getting back to, the game. So anyway, wrapping up the Portland game, Ben Simmons was phenomenal on the defensive end against Damian Lillard and had basically a 23-point triple-double. Only one turnover comes on when they're trying to inbound the ball for a last chance. Obviously, Rocco gets his hand in on it. The only defensive play Rocco makes in that game, of course. And he had to get in. The Sixers didn't have a timeout left. I know people are pissed about the play, but Sixers didn't have a timeout left, so he had to inbound the ball. A couple seconds had already gone by. I think Seth slipped or tripped throughout the play when they were screening and moving around. So he tried to inbound the ball to Joel. Rocco sticks his hand out. It goes the other way. That's how that game wraps up. It sucked. It hurt at the time, but it was a great, great game. I saw a lot of good things to go off of, and I thought, okay, the bench isn't going to perform like that again, right? 19 points combined. I know Shake Milton's important offensively to this bench, but what about the games Shake only scores like 8 or 9 points? The bench still performs, and the Sixers have been winning games. Wrong. Let's get to the Phoenix game. Sixers fall in Phoenix to the Suns, 120 to 111 on Saturday afternoon. Okay, let me read you the starters' numbers again. Joel Embiid, 35-8. 9 of 10 from three. From the free throw line. 2 of 2 from three. Danny Green, 10 points on 2 of 3 from three. 4 of 5 from the field. Ben, 18, 6 and 4. And I will get to Ben. 16 points in the first half. Was a man on a mission. 2 points in the second half. Now that's adjustments. That's probably fatigue a little bit. I'm not coming at Ben's neck. 2 points in the second half after a dominant first half. Can't happen. Seth Curry, 10. Seth had a tough game shooting wise. 1 of 5 from three. 3 of 9 from the field. Tobias, 18, 5 and 5. 7 and 9 from the field. Tobias only took 9 shots. That's the thing. Like, I'm looking at these numbers here, guys. Joel took the majority of the shots, obviously, with 23. But then, 9 from Ben, 9 from Curry, 9 from Harris. A lack of, maybe ball movement tells the story there, but let's get to the bench because that's where the real story is. Furkan Korkmaz, 2. Nadir, don't know if you're out there. 0-5 from the field, 0-3 from three-point land in 15 minutes. 2 points. Matisse Thybulle, 5 in 14 minutes. Mike Scott, first game back. Goose egg. Get the hive off my team. He can't play anymore. I guess it was an overachievement in 2018. I like his swagger. I like his fit. He brings that, not goon, but that tough, that tough piece off the bench that had, you saw him get into it with Josh Jackson when he wasn't even playing a couple weeks ago. It's fun. He drank the guy's Jack and Coke or whatever it was when he fell on Christmas Day into the bench. It's funny. He can't play anymore, dude. He can't play a lick defensively. He attributes nothing. Guys, he had 0 points, 0 rebounds. 0 assists, 2 rebounds in 11 minutes. You could slip and fall into 2 rebounds in 11 minutes. Dwight Howard, 2 points. Tyrese Maxey, 6 points. Ferguson only played a minute, and then, actually, here's the thing. I gave the bench too much credit. I gave him 20. But in reality, when I'm looking here, 5 points came in a minute from Isaiah Joe and a minute from Tony Bradley. So I won't even give him that. So the bench scored 15 against the Suns. I was going to give him 19 against Portland, 20 against the Suns, combining for 39, which is atrocious. I'm looking at the minutes here. 5 of those points come off. You can't count those. 15 bench points. I don't care who your starters are. That's very difficult to overcome. That is the story of this team. Nadir, I see your final comment. I'll get to in a second. Dude, you have a weird obsession with blaming Doc. But anyway, Marquis says bench is horrible. I pulled out my trade Korkmaz card now again. Look, man, he's good for what he is. I busted Nadir's balls for a second because he was 0-5, 0-3 from 3. He had a bad game. Like I said, he attributes nothing if he can't shoot from the outside, and it's the truth. I can do better than those guys. You probably could, Marquise. Could slip and fall into 2 rebounds like Mike Scott did. Philly Boys 72. Chris Paul killed Sixers in pick and roll the second half. Yeah, dude, there was one play I remember. He came around the pick. It wasn't a pick and roll. He just came around the screen, got to his spot on the right wing, kind of in the corner in the mid range, and just floated off his right foot. And that's just vintage Chris Paul. He destroyed him. And then Booker, I mean, what did he give him? Let me see. 36, 14 of 23 from the field. He started slow. Devin Booker gave it to him. And then I see people on Twitter, the video, and they were mocking Ben. I'm the best defender in the league. And it's a video of Devin Booker pulling up from basically the logo with Ben contesting it, and he hits it. It's a ridiculous shot. Or the other on the wing 3, where when he crosses up, steps back, hits it, not a fadeaway, but off bounce a little bit, hits the 3, and they're mocking Ben for the defense. Dude, just tip your cap to Devin Booker. Don't mock Ben Simmons for the defense. Nadir, Dylan, you know that I want Cork traded. Oh, yeah, you want Cork traded, Nadir. John, Paul Reed, Mike Scott. I agree, dude. I agree. I mean, Paul Reed is killing it in Delaware, right? Well, actually in the bubble right now, but with the Blue Coats, he's not ready yet. I think you kind of saw that in his limited run here in a little bit of a role. Nadir, okay, sorry guys, I need to skip some of this. Doc is to 90s basketball. Doesn't work. Time to blame Doc and not Ben. Nadir, I hope you're trolling. I really hope you are. But you've, kind of made some comments in the past when I was praising Doc's work so far with this team, and you said I don't get it. Look, man, first of all, I'm talking about the games. They lost. The bench sucked. Okay. They need help there, especially without Shake right now. To blame Doc is idiotic right now for how the bench played. Secondly, they lost 2 games, dude. They're 18-9. They still sit in first place. Is it going to suck if they lose tonight with Embiid, without Embiid? Yeah, obviously. To go 1-3 on this West Coast trip is going to hurt. To lose 3 straight is going to hurt. It's a very good Utah team. It's a hot and very good Phoenix team. Melo flashback to 2010 on last Thursday. Okay? I don't know what you're getting at, but elaborate, please. You want to talk 90s basketball? Why? Because they're not shooting and knocking down a lot of threes? Joel Embiid just dropped 35 and 35 in back-to-back losses. Okay? That's where they run their offense from. Toby's been effective in the mid-range. Ben's attacking, getting to the rim. Would I like them to knock down more threes? Absolutely. That has nothing to do with Doc Rivers and his system. Let's see. Philly Boys 72. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not going to call out Nadir like that, but time to blame Doc. First of all, why do we have to blame anyone? They dropped 2 games. Okay? Milwaukee Bucks just dropped 3 in a row. Is anyone jumping off their bandwagon in Milwaukee? Do they stink? Are they not going to make a run come postseason time? No. The Celtics, I believe, just dropped 200. They're 2 in a row. They're a 500 team. He says record few 3-point attempts. Welcome to 1997. Nadir, they're in first place in the Eastern Conference. Were you bitching and moaning about the lack of threes when they were winning? No, you weren't. They lost 2 in a row to 2 very good teams on the road who are, I believe, top 5 or 6 in the West, and now they got to play the best team and the hottest team in the NBA. Relax, man. Yeah, Steven says, no one has gained a single game and lost. They're still 2 games up, and they just dropped 2 in a row. Relax with the blame game, man. Again, is it going to, if they lose 3 in a row, are we going to be like, oh, damn, it's going to suck. Then you got to get right. I believe after that, they come back home. They play Chicago, I believe. I believe they have Toronto twice. I'm drawing a blank on some of the upcoming games, but I know those are 3 of the next 5 for the Sixers. yeah. I love talking to the deer, but man, he makes my head hurt sometimes. It's never enough. And the best part is when I was complaining about the Eagles, the one organization that you should be complaining about right now in Philadelphia, he told me classic Philly fans, never good enough, always complaining. You're complaining about the first place in the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia 76ers. Do they need room? Do they need to improve? Yeah, damn right. Bench sucks right now. I just alluded to that for 20 minutes. It's not Doc Rivers' fault that the bench sucks. What do you want him to do? Joel just gave you 35 and 35. Ben, 23-point triple-double, basically. Locking up Damian Lillard. Toby, 17 and 18 or 18 and 18. I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah, I'd like to see a few more three-pointers. He says, I didn't read this yet, so let's see. Both Ferk and Shake shooting percentage really bad. Brett Brown's system 40. Dude, you're not. You're kidding, right? You're not comparing Brett Brown to Doc Rivers and this team, right? And I know the Sixers record through 25 games or 27 games was better. They were 20 and 7 or whatever compared to 18 and 9. I get it. Better record last year. 18 and 9 still a good record. And they're in first place by 2 games after dropping 2 in a row to 2 good teams. Relax, dude. Like, relax. When Danny Green's tying franchise records for threes, and when Seth Curry makes 6 in a row from 3, are you complaining about the 3-pointers then? No. And you're giving me my point, right? So you want to talk about Brett Brown's system, 40 and 42% from deep with those two. Let's look at the first name, Furkan Korkmaz, the guy that's on your picture right here, Nadir. In your whatever you want, your avatar, okay? That's your first issue. You're blaming Doc Rivers when he has to throw Furkan out there just like Brett did, and he's not shooting as good. No, we didn't have better flow last year. I don't know what you're watching. If you guys agree with Nadir or agree with me, please comment. I don't know. I don't know what Nadir's seeing. Better flow last year. We do need to prepare for the possibility of being in playoffs with a hurt Shake, but it's no one's fault. Yeah, they definitely need. That's where George Hill or DeLon Wright really comes in. Philly fans would complain if Philly won a championship on how they want it. Yeah, I agree. We need a backup point guard and a stretch big. I agree with you. I think another shoot, it all comes down to how major Shake's injury is. Like, is that the thing? Is that why DeLon Wright and George Hill's names are coming up now? Because Shake's injury is more serious than we thought? Because if so, isn't Shake I get you could run George Hill and Shake together, DeLon Wright and Shake together. I understand that. But you get my point. If you understand my point, backup point guard wasn't where my mind went when Shake's healthy. Another shooter, another bench scorer, and backup 4. Completely agree with you on the second part. Blake Griffin, buyout. Maybe you come in with Detroit. We'll see what Daryl Morey does. I think these last 2 games, when you see how Joel Embiid's playing and the guys you have around him are playing right now and they're first in the East, I think Daryl Morey knows he has a window here to compete this season. I don't think he's just going to sit back and, let an MVP caliber season by Joel Embiid go to waste. Thoughts on getting George Hill? I love it. I mean, he's a DMP last night for OKC. I forget why. It was some kind of, was it a finger thing or I don't know. But I'm assuming he's healthy if he's on the trade market right now. The threes are a problem for our team. I know they're a problem. Were they a problem before we lost 2 in a row? No. And that's not a Doc issue. It's not a Doc issue. So I don't know. Sean says, them Eagles are trash, but the Phillies really get to me most days. But how could you not be happy with the Sixers and Flyers lately? Yeah, the Phillies get to me too, but I just saw something before I went live. that they have the 5th. They're in the top 5 for payroll this season. So they're spending money. They are spending money. We saw what Doc accomplished in LA. Nadir, he's got a ring, bro. You're comparing Brett, like the fact that you're even sticking up for Brett Brown over Doc Rivers, like because they lost 2 games. They lost 2 games to 2 good Western Conference teams. Okay. So tell me this. Now I'm not predicting that they win tonight, especially because I don't even know if Embiid's playing or not. But if they go into Utah tonight, Utah has won 18 of their last 19 games. 22-5, I believe, in the West. First place. They beat Utah tonight. You still bitching and moaning about Doc? You still want Brett Brown? I'll talk to you tomorrow about it. And then they could lose tonight. They very well easily could lose tonight, especially if they don't have Joel Embiid, chalk it up. And that's something I want to get into in a second once I get through these comments. Shake Milton and Hill would be nasty. It would be not fun to watch. Sixers are not a complete product. Morey will add right pieces. Relax, people. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I got a good feeling with the buyout this year, but hopefully Brooklyn doesn't get stronger. Yeah, I think Brooklyn's going to add some pieces in the buyout market as well. They can't really, I don't know what they could possibly trade for. So I think they're going to be high buyers come that time. Steven, Embiid better play. So let's get into the Utah game because that's a great comment right there. We all want them to play, obviously, right? Especially we want to see our best, even though we don't have Shake and we've seen how the bench is. So this is my point, right? We want to see our starting 5 after, they were 14-0. Now they're 14-2 together. We want to see them against the Utah Jazz fully healthy and how hot they are. Can we compete with them, right? I get it. But let me ask you this because it came to my attention earlier. And we've also seen how bad and poorly the Sixers play without Embiid and how ugly it can get. So it could get ugly tonight if he doesn't play. We know that. But do you play him tonight? Because the back tightness isn't fake anymore. Earlier in the year, it was load management. After that hard fall against the Lakers, and then he did it again against Boston, the back tightness is a thing. Like, he actually, he's 7'2", 290, whatever the hell he is, and he hit the floor that hard. It clearly bothers him. But so I want to throw this to you guys. Would you rather sit Joel Embiid tonight against the team that you could realistically lose against without him, get him ready to go coming back home, and then theoretically roll over the Bulls and whoever you got coming up at home with him? Or do you play him tonight to get that test, to throw your best at the best team in the NBA right now and try to win? And then you can rest them against teams that you should theoretically beat even without him on the floor in Chicago. I don't know. Obviously, the games tonight, I want to see him play. I want to see what we got against Utah and this hot team. But when you look long-term coming up, is it such a bad idea? Who do you have a better chance to win against without him? The Bulls and whoever's coming up at home. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Oh, another name. Holy shit. Super califragile list. I'm not even trying it, Yams. I'm not even doing it. He says, I think this town is overreactive. There's only a problem with Green and Carey missing open look. Exactly. Maybe if Seth doesn't go 1 of 5 from 3, we're not complaining about the lack of threes. Maybe if Danny Green takes more than 2 or 3. Maybe if, I know it's crazy, Nadir. Maybe if your boy Furkan doesn't go 0 of 5 from 3, even if he hits 2, 40% hit 2 of those 5, different ball game. Seth hits another one, different ball game. Okay? I said it in the beginning of the year when they dropped the game they shouldn't have dropped. If they hit open shots, they win. But you're not going to overcome this bench right now. And that's another thing that goes into tonight. Shake's out tonight, guys. So are you really going to risk 36 to 38 minutes of Joel Embiid giving his all with a tight and sore back when the bench might give you 18 points and you're going to and you could get routed in the fourth quarter by Utah because they just can't keep it close enough? And then what you play Joel for? It's just something to think about. Yeah, Marquise. I mean, this shouldn't even be a topic, but it is here in the Daily Dose because Nadir threw it out there. Steven says, sorry. To be honest, we should have won that Blazers game. I agree. It was a tough loss, but you move on. Now you had another tough loss on Saturday. Let's see how they respond. That's why a reason I kind of want to see Embiid play. How do they respond after losing 2 in a row together? Steven says, play him tonight. Okay, I like it. The bench will be the issue because Jordan Clarkson is on fire. Add another sixth man of the year, top candidate. Sixers basically taking an L in my book tonight because the bench doesn't know who will show up. So, Marquise, am I getting that? You would rest Joel Embiid tonight, get him ready for the lesser teams and kind of, because at the end of the day, guys, I know we want that test, see where we are, see who we can compete with, right? The best of the best right now. At the end of the day, the wins and the losses all count the same in the regular season. Get what I'm saying here? Maybe don't play them tonight. Know how to lose in this league. Take your loss tonight. Get them ready to go. Roll Chicago at home. Either way, you're 1-1. Or maybe you could be right. Maybe they beat Utah tonight. Who am I to say they can't beat Utah? The Jazz are hot right now. They're really hot. Do I think the Jazz are actually the best team in the league? No. They're very, very hot right now. But it's your 4th straight road game. You've just lost 2 in a row. The bench is playing this way. Do you force it to try to overcome those issues and get a win? Sean says, as long as we get him through the playoffs, I'm happy for Embiid to rest. Yeah, that is the end goal. The regular season, obviously, I want the 1 seed. It'll be fun. But the end goal is the playoffs. Yeah, sure. Blame it on the players. Dude, I don't get you, bro. I don't get you. If it's a Ben Simmons issue, it's blame it on the player. He needs to go. But because your boy went 0-5, it's the coach's fault. It's the system. Come on, man. Just be real for a second. What do you mean? Yeah, sure. Blame it on the players. Yeah. Hit an open 3. I don't know. Is that crazy to ask? Steven says it's time for Max or Joe to pick up Shake. Theoretically, you'd like to be Maxey because it's that position, that backup point guard position. After what we saw earlier in the season, he's taken that step back as a rookie. He hasn't produced as much offensively when he's in the game. I think the last 2 games, he was 2 of 8 from the field and 2 of 6 from the field. I don't think Doc trusts him that much late in the game right now, so I don't think it's that. Or Ferk, it's their chin. That's the thing. He has to pick up the offense off the bench. Now, dear, I'm giving your boy some credit here. He is the guy right now without Shake that has to pick it up and produce offensively off the bench. The one night, was it the Sacramento game we won, or was it Portland? No, it wasn't Portland because they were terrible against Portland. The Sacramento game, what do you have? 15 in the first half or something like that? He was great in the first. Like, that's what I need. Marquise, yeah, rest Embiid. Playoffs matter more. Forget the regular season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So we're kind of split here. Marquise says rest him. Stephen Green says play him. I don't know. Time being, I want to see the better game. It'll be fun if he plays. Good thing I'm not the coach. Good thing we're not the coach. We don't have to make that decision. We just have to sit back and deal with it. So let's look at this Jazz game, guys, before I wrap up today's show. And thank you so much for commenting and keep commenting along with me. Let's talk some keys to the game. Players of the game. Who stands out tonight to you guys and can really step up? Let's just assume for now that Joel Embiid's going to play. He's questionable. He's not listed as out yet, so let's just assume he plays tonight, right? They're down Shake Milton. And Utah is down Mike Conley. Can the Sixers get a win tonight? Again, assuming Joel's playing. Can they beat the 18 of their last 19 red hot first place in the Western Conference Utah Jazz on the road to wrap up this 4-game West Coast trip? Or do they get sent home back to Philly 1-3 on the West Coast trip? You guys tell me. I'll react to your comments and I'll give you my opinion at the end of the show before I wrap up. Just some key. I'm looking at the Jazz's defensive ratings and defensive rankings here. They're a very good defensive team, guys. They are 2nd in points allowed, 4th in rebounds allowed, They're middle of the pack offensive rebounds allowed. They're 15th there. So maybe, if Joel plays, Dwight, Toby, maybe be physical, get some extra chances. That's one way to get more buckets against his team. They are third in assists allowed. They're 30th in steals. So they do not turn you over a lot. They're first in defensive rebounds, 7th in field goals allowed, 3rd in three-pointers allowed, 4th in blocks. They're 30th in turnovers. Again, they do not turn you over a lot at all. 6th in opponent field goal percentage, 3rd in opponent three-point percentage, and 2nd in defensive rating. My God, this Utah team anchored by Rudy Gobert in the middle is a very good defensive team. They just don't turn you over. They don't get quick transition buckets. That shouldn't be too much of a worry tonight. But where does the offense come through? I think we all need to hope that Joel Embiid plays tonight. Because if he doesn't, and no Shake Milton off the bench to anchor that second unit, we're in for a hell of a long night tonight. Because a guy like Joel Embiid in the middle in the post, with the way he's been playing, he can disrupt some of those numbers. Right? And we're talking, Nadir, we're all talking about the three-point. We need more attempts. They need to knock down more three-pointers. I just read you Utah's three-pointers allowed, opponents' three-pointers allowed, and opponents' three-point percentage. They're top in the league. Okay? One of the top teams in the league defensively. Joel Embiid in the post, Ben Simmons aggressive, getting into the paint, kick out, can allow more open looks around the three-point line. Offensively, Utah are they the best team behind the arc, I think? They might be the best three-point shooting team in the league. I'm not sure on that. I think I saw something earlier. Can you run them off the three-point line? That's what tonight, if Joel Embiid plays, who wins the three-point battle tonight? Let's get to some comments here. It's impossible to step up with Dwight Howard on the floor, and Dwight Howard kills the offense. Oh, we agree a little bit. Look, I love Dwight, okay? I love what he brings in a limited role, but if he has to start tonight or play a lot of minutes because Embiid's out there in a lot of trouble. And one thing I can offer is, like, Thybulle's done it a ton of times. Stop trying to pick and roll with Dwight and then trying to squeeze that bounce pass into him in the paint in between defenders. The ball, it's too low. He can't get to it. It gets deflected, and he's got butterfingers. Dwight never grabs the ball, right? And he can't finish around the rim, and he's not a good free throw shooter at all. There is no positive outcome of Dwight Howard having the ball in his hands around the rim unless it's a freaking dunk, and we've seen him miss a few of those earlier in the year because he's hanging on to the rim for too long. So unless it's a lob or an offensive rebound dunk for Dwight Howard, the ball should not be in his hands or in the paint looking to score. That's one way to stop him from killing your offense and killing the flow of your offense. Because that is a way that Utah will turn you over. Sean says, I think it's Tobias' game tonight, going for 25 plus. I like it, man. Tobias hasn't hit 20 in, I think, since the Sacramento game. So the last two games he was under. So glad I can code a multi-million-dollar product and get my daily dose. I'll say yes, it's possible, but just hard to believe. They need to play slow and smart basketball. Keys to game, out rebound, hit open threes, and bench show up badly. That's all Marquise. Philly boys 72. Simmons and Thybulle will shut down Donovan Mitchell. It's big. It's big if they can. Especially if Embiid's playing. Gobert should not have much to do offensively tonight. Conley's out, like I said. If you can slow down Donovan Mitchell, make the others beat you. Make Joe Ingles go for 20 to 25 plus tonight. Okay? We score a lot in the paint with our three best players. I think Gobert will have trouble with that, just like the Lakers did. It's a great point. Everyone, please pass to Dwight's head or above. Yeah, the bounce pass to Dwight doesn't work. Alton says, I think we already know Sloger's. Yeah, dude. You know it's coming. I'll predict minimum 18 for Joe Ingles tonight. Minimum. And he catches fire from three early. If Embiid plays, here we go. Marquise stat line. I love it. JoJo 31, Ben 21, Seth 18, Toby 22, Green 11. Embiid would need a Miami Heat game 1 this year performance, dropping 40 and getting 13 plus rebounds and play elite defense. Burke is a catch and shoot guy. Doc uses him as a playmaker. That's a good coach. Yeah. No, dude, first of all, I've criticized that little set that they've tried to run earlier in the year. You know this. No, Doc does not. As of right now, because they don't have Shake or anyone to anchor the second unit, yeah, Ferk's got the ball in his hands more trying to create because they have no one else to create for him, okay? Unless he's on the floor with Ben. But no, Doc doesn't try to use him as a playmaker. He has it here and there. Ferk will have the ball and he'll try to handle and go around a screen, and I've ripped that set, okay? Don't make excuses, bro. How about don't go over 5 from 3? How about don't get 2 points in 20-some minutes from the free throw line? All right? So, to wrap up today's show, I'm going to hit you with this. If the Philadelphia 76ers do not have Joel Embiid tonight, I think this game is ugly. And I think it starts off okay, but by the 8-minute mark of the second quarter, I think we're down double digits. And the half, I think we're down 14-16. And I don't think we ever come back. I think you see a lot of Isaiah Joe and Tony Bradley and so forth late in the game. And this is one you flip off early, okay? If Joel Embiid plays, I think the Sixers win. And I think the Sixers win because Gobert's not going to get any easy buckets underneath. I don't think he's going to be much of an offensive problem. They don't have Mike Conley. And with Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle being thrown Donovan Mitchell and getting him different looks, I think they can actually slow him down. You've seen Dame go off for 30, Melo 24, Devin Booker 36, Chris Paul tore us up a little bit in the pick and roll. I don't foresee the Sixers team dropping 3 straight. And Utah's 18 of 19. They're red hot, dude. But I think the Sixers provide a matchup for them that can give them some issues. Now, it's on the road in Utah. That's not easy. It's the last stand. Maybe the Sixers just want to get home. I don't know. How much of that, if Joel Embiid plays, is that back acting up? I don't know. But like I said, Utah has a heavy advantage over the Philadelphia 76ers at the three-point line right now in this season. And the Utah Jazz have a great defense. Joel Embiid can cause issues in that defense. If you can get him in the post, draw double teams. Seth Curry, Danny Green, Matisse Thybulle, Furkan Korkmaz will get looks, open looks that other teams haven't gotten versus the Utah Jazz at the three-point line. That's why those numbers are so good. And then I also think with those numbers being so high, I think if you can turn Utah over and get some quick transition buckets, Ben Simmons type game, I think that's how you're successful against the Utah Jazz tonight. Joel Embiid doesn't play. Ugly, ugly loss. 1-3 on the West Coast trip. Joel Embiid plays. Tough win at the end of the game. 2-2 West Coast trip. Get home. Get right. 19-9. First place in the East by what would be 2.5 games, depending on how Milwaukee and all plays out. I don't know if they play tonight. And that is that for today's show. So thank you guys so much for commenting along with me, throwing out your thoughts on the weekend and tonight's matchup. Go Sixers. Let's hope Embiid plays. Let's hope he plays healthy. Don't rush him back. Don't force him to play if he doesn't need to play tonight. And let's see if they can come away with a dub. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully, with my co-host, Matt McGinty. You can follow me on Twitter if you're interested at DylanJD98. I will be tweeting out my thoughts throughout the course of the game. Have a nice night, guys. Go Sixers.